single thing. I've heard countless amount of times you said, man, in different parts, you were like, yo, I'm just figuring this out. I don't know what exactly I'm doing. But I also know that college was a little bit of a dark place with substance abuse and things of that nature. I'm always intrigued. Can, no person is as strong as they think they are, right? I always say, you don't know how strong you can be, or you don't know how temptation that you will succumb to until you're in a position to be tempted. But I also find out that a lot of our historical things, our environment and how we grow up, the old us is always with us wherever it is that we go. When you found yourself in those low moments, Ken, I mean, man, what was going through your head at those times? And honestly, man, how did you pick yourself up from it? Because a lot of people say, oh, just go ask for help. Oh, just go do this, man. It's easy as this. But it's like, yo, sometimes people are so busy with their own stuff. They don't really have time to really or want to always help you. So how did you pick yourself up out of those dark moments?
The first thing I'll say is with regards to other people helping you, when it comes to addiction and things that you're struggling and self-inflicted wounds, no one wants to help you until you show that you're willing to help yourself. If you're willing to help yourself and you go ask for help, the people who've been there and done that, they'll kill themselves for you. But in my mind, when I was like in those dark places and using drugs to escape, and the crazy thing is when you use opioids to escape pain and emotional pain, it's very, very temporary. So let's say, and I'll give you an example, like, because I had been on and off drugs for years as an adult, like opioids. And the first couple of days, let's say you have like a few months clean, you take them for a few more days. For the first like 2 to 5 days, you're like, oh my God, this feels so good. I'm so happy. I'm euphoric. It's awesome. Then it starts like this. Then it gets to the point when you're at the bottom where you're taking them not to be suicidal, just to get your chemicals right. Knowing, practically speaking, my chemicals are just out of whack. I gotta get off these things, let my shit reset. My rational brain is telling me like, dude, what are you doing? Like, get this together. But then the psychological part of me too is like, well, you're such a loser. You fucked up so much. I mean, I guess if you can't get off it, you could just kill yourself. And so in the back of my mind, in a crazy way, I almost use that as a crutch, like worst case scenario, I'll kill myself. Like I can't take, that's the level of pain that I was dealing with, of thinking about, I can't deal with my life in a sober state of mind. When I'm sober, I can't live with myself. I've made mistakes that I can't. And when I say mistakes, like I'm an open book, like everything, you're only as sick as the secrets you keep. And when I think about what I've done, all of my shame stems from addiction. So by me sharing this with you, it's just a way of me saying like, hey, if people were watching the beginning of this and think I have something good that they want, like, be careful what you wish for. I wouldn't want anyone to have to live with the ups and downs that I go through. I'm making it work for me the best I can, but I wouldn't want someone with lesser constitution to have to deal with this pain, because they might have actually killed themselves. And I can tell you, like, one of the big turning points for me with that was, I don't know how familiar you are with psychedelic drugs, and I've never been a big drug person per se. I just found opioids and was like, oh my God, painkillers. I like, this makes me feel great temporarily. So a friend of mine, Justin Wren, a UFC fighter, a few years ago, he had struggled with addiction that he had spoken about publicly. So I'm not saying anything out of school here, but he had I don't know if you've ever heard of DMT, like yes. 5-MeO DMT. Mike Tyson talked about it. It got a lot of publicity. It's like a toad venom from a Sonoran desert toad. Anyway. Yeah. So Justin Wren had told me about this. There was a woman / shaman in Malibu who administered DMT, and I just like sought her out. Went there on my own on like a random Tuesday at 12 o'clock in the afternoon. I'll never forget, on like December 28th. And I went in there, she's dressed all in white. There was a very attractive woman and another very attractive friend of hers and a handsome guy, and they're all in white. It was very intense, like very scary. But I was like, I need to get this right. And it's a constant struggle. I still struggle with it. It's just finding that happy medium of being like not too happy, not too sad. It's like with any struggles in your life. I always tell people when they're going through a hard time, like, listen to me. Things are not as bad as they seem. And when you get out of this, they're never as good as they seem. So
Yes.
stop this high and low. It's not realistic. You're in the middle.
Got to find the balance. Yeah.
So I went into this place and I was scared. I don't know if your audience is going to care about this. If they don't, you can edit it out. But I think that this was a big turning point. And so I went in there and I was like, you know, I'm going to smoke this DMT. I like, it's supposed to like change your whole way of thinking. And, you know, but there's obviously, I'm scared, like, will it make me worse? Like, I'm already pretty bad. Like, I don't want to be more mentally troubled. And, long story short, she was like, read this little prayer. I was like hyperventilating. And then eventually I inhaled this DMT. And dude, it was momentarily the most terrifying thing that's ever happened to me. Because in my brain, I died. Like when I say I died, I'm telling you, I experienced death. Like imagine if you could, that feeling of like when you're on a roller coaster or something terrifying is about to happen. You know you're not going to die or fall off, but that momentary fear of like, whoa, like just the unknown, that's what happens times 10 when I smoked this. And it was very brief. It could have been 15 minutes, but it could have been less than 1 second. But in my brain, it was quick. It was like I was falling down a big hallway. Some people talk about visuals of like angels and spirits. And
Yeah, I've heard a couple of different pieces.
I didn't have that experience.
Yeah.
I was like, this all happened quick. It was like my internal organs like accelerated into like a crescendo of an orchestra, like, and I was just like, oh my God, I'm gonna die. And then I took a deep breath, like it was like a feeling that you couldn't fight, and I was like, you just had to like surrender. And I was like, all right, I surrender. As soon as I took a deep breath, and then I realized, oh my God, I'm not dead. And the reason I tell this long-winded story, and I'm sorry if anyone found this boring, but the minute that I realized I wasn't dead, I had the realization that, holy shit, I'm not dead. I have a chance to fix everything. Nothing that I've done is irreparable. Everything can be fixed. All the shit that you think matters. I can promise you, when you think you're about to die, guarantee you the struggles you're having with work, or you're trying to record a podcast and it didn't record right, or this didn't happen, like you're like, none of that matters. Like nothing matters except the people in your life that are important. When I came out of this, like the death part of this, that again it was instantaneous, it felt like it, but it could have been long. Then you're almost slightly incapacitated, but not in a scary way. It's almost like you're coming out of a surgery, like off of anesthesia, where you're like, I know I'm awake, but I don't really want to move. I'm just like, whoa, what just happened? And I'm laying on this floor. There's a picture of it on my Instagram if anyone cares. And I've got like a towel over my eyes. And I just, and you just start really thinking. And all I could think about, I have 4 kids. My oldest son, they're all good, but he's just very emotionally sensitive. He needs my constant reassurance. Like he doesn't want to be teased. My youngest son, I mean, literally we call him like a big baby all the time, and he laughs it off because he's like mentally tough. You know, we literally call him, hey, baby boy. And if you called my other kids that, they'd be like, I'm not a baby. This kid, but my oldest son, and I just had this realization that whatever the DMT did to me, it just made me realize, like, oh my God, dude, here are the couple things that are very important to you. So when all of this happened, it kind of gave me this perspective that, like, you only have one chance through life. Like, if you spend all your time worrying about what other people think and trying to live the life they want you to live, I guarantee you're not going to be happy, because money doesn't make you happy. Before I got married, when I lived in London, I was making millions of dollars. I lived in London. The company paid my rent. I had a brand new Porsche. I was flying on the Concorde. I was not any more happy than I am right now. And I mean, not that things are hard or by any means now, but I'm saying when people say, oh, shit, you have money, it doesn't matter. I've had money and lost money multiple times. When I was in London working, doing that, I was covering Enron. I was trading electricity with Enron. When they went bankrupt, they sent me back to New York and were like, your new salary is like 10 grand a month, which, okay, 120 grand, not bad. But when you're making 100 grand a month and now you're making 10 grand a month, guess what? When you make 100 grand, you spend 100 grand. Like you spend what, you live that life. And so anyway, the point is, I'm not trying to say, look at me, I made a lot of money. I just told you about all my crazy flaws. I tell you that only to say the things that you think matter, I promise you they don't. I'm the happiest I've ever been. The fact that an Olympic athlete wants to talk to me about my athletic achievements and accomplishments is like a dream come true to me. Someone is like, wants to talk to me. They think that I'm good at anything. Think about that. Isn't that what we want? Recognition from our peers and respect and appreciation from others, and to think that you can provide value to other people, that someone might listen to this and think, Ken, that was really inspirational. People send me those notes. Dude, I could cry right now thinking about them. It's so emotional to me because I know what emotional pain can do. And when you identify with someone and can get an ounce of motivational happiness or satisfaction or relief from their words or their story, it's like, man, it's empowering.